Good morning. I am Catherine Adams, and what a gift it is to be in front of you in this moment. As you've seen me up here before, I have the joy and the pleasure and the gift of being able to serve on staff here at First Presbyterian Church as your communications coordinator and children's ministry assistant. And me standing here in front of you today, this morning, is an absolute testimony to God's goodness and His faithfulness. Most definitely because I'm here, I'm alive, and I'm well, but also because of how I got to be here at First Presbyterian Church serving on this staff. First Presbyterian Church has been my church home since I was a child. It's been a staple community and a place of comfort for me from the beginning. I have memories of playing the parachute game on the back lawn at Vacation Bible School. Distinct memories in various Sunday school classes throughout this building, some of which have left me with gifts or tools that have most definitely carried me into the future. I have a small business card-sized card that's the scripture, Psalm 118, verse 24, the same scripture that Peter used in his opening this morning. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And I've remembered that from the day I got it and kept it by my bedside as a child, as scripture to remember into the days of my future. I walked through the confirmation process here with Laura Crumbly as my mentor. Remember many Super Bowl gatherings at Ellen and Tom Carrico's house, and high school Sunday school where donuts were breakfast. We came to church and talked about God and ate donuts, and it was a beautiful thing. And then I also have many distinct memories of mission trips, specifically to West Virginia, one led by Gary Williams and Bill Gale. Those trips, I believe, are what built in me a passion for service and missions, not only here in the United States, not only here in Lynchburg, Virginia, but around the world. And our church, you may know, has international mission partners in Malawi. And my spark for wanting to go and serve in Africa one day started from that spark of the Malawi mission field there. And I've yet to get there, but I'm praying and dreaming that God will take me there soon. But now, as an adult, I have served with many on committees, on the diaconate, and now on the session as a part of the session body. I've also lived life with so many of you, celebrating life's highs and walking through some of life's sorrows or some of life's tough times. But what you will notice in each of those moments, each of those activities, each of those times of worship is a common connecting theme. First, it's God wrapping in and through, but ultimately through God used the people. He used the community. He brought people into this body that poured into me, that felt it was important to help build me up, help build my faith and strengthen my faith over the years. And that foundation of faith that I built here as a child and since growing up now is what has got me here. It's brought me here literally and figuratively. Literally, as I'm serving in this role on staff, and then figuratively in the greater sense of the word. But what you see is that common theme is that faith, that foundation of faith. And you see, over a year ago, I took a giant step, a giant leap of faith in my own personal life. I made a decision. It was bold, it was brave, it was courageous. Some might even say it was crazy, to step away from a job that I had been working for 7 years because I trusted and believed that God was calling me to something else. He was calling me to something bigger. My time there, my season at that organization was finished. But He had something for me on the horizon, but in true God fashion, He doesn't always show the details right up front. So it began a season of waiting, a season of trusting, a season of being obedient and stepping out in faith. And God was faithful. He used that season. He created many opportunities and many experiences for me to learn and grow, many of which were grounded here at First Presbyterian. I had the opportunity with extra time on my hands to serve as a receptionist and help answer the phones and deepen relationships with the staff, deepen relationships with many of you. I was blessed with the opportunity to serve downstairs at the weekday school as well. And many of you offered your prayers. Many of you offered opportunities for ways to continue to help me grow and figure out what that next step was. Because I didn't know what was next. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew that God needed me to follow Him. So as we turn to the year 2020, God showed His faithfulness and He showed His goodness by offering me in 1 week's time a multitude of opportunities. I shouldn't say multitude like it was this great pouring, but he gave me a couple opportunities to where I could use my strengths and gifts to serve Him. And the greatest gift, the greatest opportunity, the opportunity He gave me was that of serving among this staff and among this church community, serving Him here at First Presbyterian Church, here at the right time. I was getting anxious, and I was nervous, and I was waiting. What are you going to do for me next? And just in His time, He stepped right in and He opened the door. And I am ever so thankful that He did just that. Now, I started in January, and shortly thereafter, the pandemic started to make moves in the life of this church and the lives of all of us. So it's been the most interesting year to start a new job, and especially start a new job in the church. But I can't imagine starting a new job, starting a new opportunity without God first leading the way, but then being amongst the amazing staff here, hardworking, passionate, pursuing what God has called for this church and this community. It's offered me the opportunity to deepen and strengthen my relationship first and foremost with God, but then also with others. Not only the staff, but the rest of this church community and even beyond. We've had opportunities through the virtual components that the pandemic has opened for to connect with others outside of these walls in the community of Lynchburg. And it's just been awesome. So I'm so very thankful for that. And I know I skipped a lot of details about how I got to last summer and how I got from last summer to this start of this year and even now, and how God worked in and through my life. And if you're interested in learning and knowing more, I'd be glad to sit down and have a cup of coffee with you or chat on the phone. Well, I guess maybe not a cup of coffee inside, but 6 feet apart or on the phone. We could make it happen. But I just look forward to the opportunity to be able to connect and share if you're most interested in how my step of faith has led me here and had such an impact on my life. But what I'd also like to share, and what I also believe is that we here at First Presbyterian Church, we have an opportunity now to step in and step out in faith ourselves as individuals, but united as a church community through our Rooted and Reaching Capital campaign. Now we know, we've heard, there are components, there are parts of this campaign that are focused on raising some financial resources to help improve some of the facilities here on the property, help improve our organ so that we can play amazing, beautiful music, more amazing and more beautiful than the opportunity that we can share now, and resources that are going to help us better take the message of the gospel out into the world with our weekday school, with our mission partners, and even beyond. And I know that that's a part of this campaign, but what I also want to share is that another major component is the relationships that are built, the relationships that are deepened, the relationships that are connected. Just like my being here, God has used and allowed me to do here in this position on staff, but He is going to use this campaign to bring us together, to unite us as a community, to help us take what we have been rooted in the past and launch us, propel us into the future. I am just one example of what the body of the church has poured into and created isn't the right word, but that He has poured into and built through this community of faith. And I believe that there are more stories like mine that can be shared and told now and even in the future. And the relationships that are strengthened in this campaign, the resources that we're going to bring together to help, are going to help build that future. And that's why we need each of us. We need all of us. We need everyone to come together, that we can be one and that we can chase after whatever God has for us in the future. And I believe, because of the way He has been faithful in the past, I believe that He has got amazing, great things in the future. So I encourage you, as Peter shared earlier, if you haven't had a visit yet, and if someone hasn't called you, we're working on it, or you can call and reach out, and someone will come and visit and have the opportunity just to celebrate what God has done and think towards what He has in the future.